for some part.
Do you have a fear of that though? Is that something that's actually in your mind, thinking about a student possibly bringing a gun to school? Well, okay, not in this present time, because you can't get away from this in the media. But let's say 3 months ago, 5 months ago, was this a fear that you had?
Not really.
But since the reports in the school shooting in Florida and other places, that has given you rise to fear. But personally, in the school you're in, there's been nothing that triggered that fear. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Nah.
And the crazy thing is too, even as a student, the students usually know who has the weapon.
Yes.
They pretty much know who have the weapon.
Exactly.
So it's not like if something's about to go down, they're gonna say, "Yo, so and so have the weapon."
Right. Students know when something's about to go down
They
too.
know. They know who has
They
the
know.
weapon.
They know.
I even understand that they even make appointments and stuff so that half the school knows where to be at
Yes,
a certain time to see the fight or whatever go down. You
So
know?
they know.
Exactly. Exactly. And you see, this is why for me the second part of the question was, what are the steps that we're going to take to ensure our children's safety? Because you see, you said something very relevant. Or there are signs. Oftentimes, we know which student may have a tendency or may be it's more probable that they may bring a gun in. But who's having the conversations? Where's the early intervention? Where's the stop? Instead of, I would say, putting it out there, teachers having guns, why not implement change, positive change, proactive change? I think, oftentimes, which I say this all the time with the media, it's just a hot topic. It's hot, it's pushing it.
The media is a business, so they have to sell certain topics.
And
It's a
they're not
business.
about solving or resolving
Correct.
the issues.
They just put it on the table.
That's right.
That's what they do. That's how they make their money. The commercials. That's how they get the viewers. So you have to understand, if it's a business, they're gonna do what they need to do.
And also, I think that they're trying to push, because I say this all the time, I have the utmost respect for educators. I have the utmost respect because, I'm raising one child, and you, every year, every semester, you're raising different children repeatedly, and you have to know what works with each child. I think society, when they say things like arming the teacher, you're taking away that, how can I say it?
Responsibility.
You're diminishing the teacher's responsibility. And this is a teacher who's an educated, a professional educator.
See,
I would hope that educator has other tools that they can apply.
It goes back to the United States. I'm from another country, so I've seen both sides of the spectrum, right? So I'm from Haiti, for example. So when you're there, whether it be Jamaicans, I had a lot of friends with Jamaicans that were rooming in college. I had a lot of friends in college who were from Jamaica. Okay. And our views when it comes to education were very similar. So in the United States, everything is on the teacher. Students are not doing well, it's the teacher's fault. Student being late to class is the teacher's fault. Student not doing homework, it's the teacher's fault. Now, students not safe in school, it's the teacher's fault. Nobody has set back for a while and say, you know what do we need to do? Because I'm telling you, I have kids who don't do homework. And I have conversation with parents, and they say, I don't know why he doesn't do the homework. But again, it comes back to, I'm the problem. As test scores go down, teachers are the problem.
I was having this conversation earlier. This man, his sister-in-law, took his nephew out of the zone school, which is a very good school, and put the child in some other school that's 2 buses away. And she told the little boy, he's 11 years old, I'm taking you out of school because your teacher is crazy. And my cousin, who's only been in this country 7 years, he said the same thing. He said, how can you tell your child, you're taking your child out of the school because of the teacher? You can never get away from a teacher. No matter how far you want to go in life, you're always going to have some sort of a teacher, a professor, an instructor. And you're telling this child, I'm just going to change schools.
So this is why for me, in regard to having guns, I don't want no more. I have enough responsibility. I wear too many hats. I do not want to put another hat that said, I'm a cop now. That's their job. They get paid for that. I don't want to be school safety. They get paid for that. All I want to do is come in the classroom and teach. Granted that my job comes with different roles. We have to be a psychologist, I have to be a social worker.
But that's part of the training. So
Exactly.
you take those courses in school.
Yes. But well, that's what they said. It's something you learn on the fly.
Okay, but it's still part of the training at some point. Not firing a weapon.
Yes.
Not being able to make a decision between life and death.
Yeah. I don't want to make that decision.
There you go. That's
I
a
do not
big
want to
cry
make that
from
decision.
counseling.
And two, me as a black man in America, I do not want to be holding a gun while cops are rushing in or SWATs are rushing in inside a building, and I'm the one that had to hold down the fort because I'm licensed. I don't want to have to face that. When I'm in my car, I have enough fear. I have a, what's they call it?
Driving while black.
No, this is a word when soldiers go to war. They have this
PTS?
I have PTS when it comes to cops. So every time I'm stopping a car, my heart rate goes up.
Oh.
My car, I honestly, I tell people this all the time. Every time a cop stops me, my heart rate goes up. Even though I know everything is with me, I do not want to have to face that fear that I'm holding a firearm as a teacher, and they won't know the difference between somebody that's mentally ill and me as a black man.
So now imagine a student having that same fear for a teacher. Imagine that student, because the reality is, sometimes a teacher and a student just may not mesh well.
Well,
Everybody's different. So just imagine that student having that fear for the teacher.
that's a good point. But I thought of something when you were both speaking just now about being the one holding the weapon when the incoming rushing in cops come and you're the only one that's a black male holding a weapon. Mm-hmm. There was a case maybe a year and a half ago in Florida where there was a emotionally challenged man.
Yes.
He was probably in his mid-30s,
Mm-hmm.
and he had a counselor who I believe was originally from Haiti, but a black man. Over there. And he was trying to coax the man-child who was sitting in the middle of the street in Fort Lauderdale, playing with a toy truck, which was his toy that he used. But he shouldn't have been in the street. That was the point. And the counselor, who had been his counselor for 7 years, well, you're jumping ahead now.
He's autistic.
Went out. He is autistic. Went out into the middle of the street and was talking to the challenged autistic man-child. Someone called the police for whatever reason and said, according to the police, man with a gun. The police show up on scene, see a black man and a white-looking man, he turned to be a Latino, but a white Latino, in the middle of the street. The counselor, who's the black man, says to the police, "No, don't shoot him. He's autistic. I'm his counselor. He's okay, because he's holding this toy, which they may have mistaken for a gun." Well, they didn't worry about shooting the white-looking Latino. They shot the black man whose hands were up, who was speaking, explaining he's a counselor, who had nothing in his hands, obviously, and this one officer jumped out, immediately shot this black man, and thereafter immediately said, "I don't know why I shot him."
Correct.
Somebody, we were told, has a gun somewhere in the neighborhood, shoot black man. That's a Pavlov dog's response. And basically that's why he doesn't even realize why he shot him. And he said, "I don't know why I did it. I'm sorry. Black man, somebody said gun. I see he didn't have a gun. 10 fingers in the air, shot him anyway."
Hi, thank you for calling to talk about it.
Thank you for reminding me of that.
Hello? I think we lost the caller.
And so this,
Oh, hello? Hello? Yes, hi. I'm sorry, I don't know why. Can you speak a little louder, please? Try. I can hear you now, yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.